Thank you, guys. It's such an honor to be here. Really, truly it is. There's so many places that I could start here, and I think it really starts at the beginning. 2 years ago, I thought that the left championed minority voices. I thought that the left championed women and always wanted to give us a platform. And then I publicly declared myself a conservative, and I found out the hard way that that's not exactly true. If you're a minority in this country and you don't subscribe to your emotions, if you want to have intellectual discussions and you want to have a debate, there's no place for you on the left. In fact, you will be rejected. In fact, they will actively try to destroy you in the way that they have tried to destroy me over the last 2 years. Many of you guys have followed my political transformation. Obviously, it started on YouTube with just an idea that maybe conservative principles might be an alternative for the Black community. I questioned at the time, is it really possible that a man that was loved by the media, Donald J. Trump, they loved him, loved by Black America. Every hip hop song that I listened to growing up, they wanted to be like Trump. Beyonce and Jay-Z were sipping poolside at Mar-a-Lago. He was the dream. Obama said that the American dream is to be like Trump. Was it really possible that within 24 hours of declaring his candidacy for the White House, he became a racist, bigoted, homophobic, sexist, rapist at one point, right? Was that really possible? And I said, of course, no, it's not possible. There's absolutely no way that that's possible. And then I started asking myself some other questions. How on earth is it possible that a party that instituted slavery, Jim Crow laws, racial terrorism, and the KKK has the Black vote? How is it possible? We gave up culture. The right gave up culture. That's how it's possible. That's how the left was able to do this. We gave up culture. Over the course of the last 50 and 60 years, it seems that we've given up influencing pop culture altogether on the right. And to a certain degree, that's completely understandable. I mean, there isn't a climate that's more hostile to conservative principles than the entertainment industry. We see that everywhere. We see that when Joy Behar mocks the vice president for being faithful to his wife. Was that what he did? When she mocks the vice president for saying that he loves Jesus Christ, was that what he did? You certainly aren't going to win any accolades in Hollywood if you write a script and the protagonist is a part of the nuclear family unit. In fact, you'll probably be chased out of Hollywood if you start to perpetuate conservative principles. That's because the left has invested, they've infected, and they've infested culture at every single layer. This is why Kamala Harris, who will never, ever be president of the United States, is talking about Tupac and Biggie music that never came out, which she claims she smoked marijuana to in college, because she thinks that Black people are stupid, and the way that she's going to appeal to us is just by saying, I smoke pot and I listen to hip-hop music. How insulting is that? This is why Hillary Clinton, who is still not the president of the United States, love that, right? It's great. This is why she offered my community hot sauce, if you guys remember. Hot sauce as a reason to vote for her. She offered us hot sauce, a Jay-Z, and a Beyonce concert. She never talked to us about policies. The left never talks about policies because their policies have failed Black America for the last 60 years. The truth is that the left and the Democrats never, ever, ever, ever want to fix Black America because they stump on our issues year after year. If they fixed our issues, they would have nothing to stump on or to talk about. They wouldn't be able to just continually keep calling the other side racist. They want Black America to stay broken. They don't want us to ever have opportunities. They want to continue to give us handouts and not hand-ups. Never in a million years did the left predict Donald J. Trump, and I'll tell you what they also are not predicting. They never predicted a minority awakening. They never thought that they could ever lose the black vote, ever. They've taken our vote for granted for so long. But things are starting to change, and they're starting to change because, and I'll tell you guys what the magic secret is. I'll tell you how I've been able to transform so many hearts and minds in the minority community. The secret is that I simply tell them the truth. The truth is on our side as conservatives. Truth number one, America is not a racist country. The people that continue to tell us that have a vested interest in racism. In fact, they're actively now importing Nigerians to come do racist acts in this country, a la Jussie Smollett, right? This is MAGA country. No, this is your prison cell, and I hope you rot in it, Jussie. Truth number two, abortion is murder. I ask myself all the time, doesn't it seem to you that progressive policies always lead to regressive results in the black community? It's amazing, isn't it? Abortion, so progressive. They want to move that forward. We need abortion. We have black women representing 6 to 7% of the population, and yet we account for almost 40% of all of the abortions that are performed in this country. We have a sick and twisted Governor Andrew Cuomo celebrating that you can rip fetuses, you can rip infants and babies from their mother's womb at 9 months. 9 months. It's absolutely sickening what we're talking about here. And who is that going to impact the most? In New York City, for those of you that don't know, more black babies are aborted than born live. A hard-hitting truth is that the most unsafe place for a black child is not on the streets, it's not when they see a police officer, it's in their mother's womb. More than half of the black population would be double today if it wasn't for abortion. We've lost 18 million black babies since 1973. How's that for a progressive policy? Is that what they're celebrating? The left needs God. Truth number three, racially motivated police brutality is a myth. It's simply a myth. But father absence is not. The number one issue facing black America is that fathers have been removed from the home. It's that they have been incentivizing father absence. When the single motherhood rate jumps from 23% in the 1960s to a whopping 74% today, we have a problem. It's a problem that the left does not want to talk about. It is the destruction and the breakdown of the family. Truth number four. There are 3.6 million black children living below the poverty line. There are 4 million Hispanic children that live below the poverty line. And yet Democrats want us to put illegals first. I say no thank you. I say build the wall. It's actually incomprehensible what has happened to the black community over the last 60 years. I say, I don't want a Green New Deal, I want a Black New Deal. And the good news, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, is that that actually can be free. It doesn't cost $93 trillion. First and foremost, stop selling us our own oppression. Stop taking away our self-confidence by telling us that we can't because of racism, because of slavery. I've never been a slave in this country. Stop telling us that we need to be obsessing over our past when we should be obsessing over our future and the potential that we have. Stop having a culture which tells us that we should want to be hip-hop artists and basketball players when we should want to be doctors and lawyers. We need to stop idolizing people like LeBron James and start idolizing people like Dr. Condoleezza Rice and Dr. Ben Carson. How about give us school choice? That would be nice. Stop murdering our offspring. The theme today is what makes America great, and I'll tell you the answer. It's our philosophy. Margaret Thatcher said it best: Europe was created by history. America was created by a philosophy. Our philosophy, so perfectly laid out for us by Thomas Paine ahead of the Revolutionary War, is common sense and freedom. It was common sense then that the colonies shouldn't have been governed by the British monarchy. It was time for an American exit. It's common sense today that the Black community and the Hispanic community should not be governed by liberal ideology. It's time for a Blexit. It's common sense that the left does not care about racism, they don't care about sexism, they don't care about misogyny, they don't care about any of that stuff, they don't care about sexism. What they care about is the politicking of fear. When the left results to calling me, as I have read it, a racist, a sexist, a Nazi, because I really have the look going for me. And the words have completely lost their meaning. They have no arguments anymore. It's common sense to me that conservatives need to start invading culture, because we are the party that believes first and foremost in God. And in case you guys forgot, it was our belief in God and in Judeo-Christian values that inspired culture in the first place. Florence is arguably one of the most beautiful cities in the world. It's dripping with some of the greatest masterpieces from the Renaissance. It was an explosion of art, of design, of aesthetic sensibility, and almost 100% inspired by God, Christianity, and the church. Conservatives, we are culture. We can invade culture. We can inspire and touch communities. Conservative principles can inspire great works of art and great movements. But we have to give in. We have to say that we are going to fight the cultural war. When I first started on YouTube to hold the mirror up to ourselves and the things that we do wrong, I was mocked by the left and the right. I was told there was no place for humor, that I couldn't make YouTube videos that were a flash in the pan, that we had to be more stern, more serious, more austere, and that's incorrect. We have to meet people where they're at. We have to be funny. We have to be satirical. Doing billboards about AOC is great. She's giving us a lot of content right now. I want to wrap this up by pleading with all of you to realize that the left is terrified right now because it takes just 5%. If we move the Black vote 5%, the path of least resistance to defeating the left is awakening the minority community, awakening Black America. We've been lied to, we've been abused, we have been used, and we are suffering. If we make an effort ahead of 2020 to embrace the Black community, to embrace culture, we can save this country. I want to thank Matt Schlapp for this amazing opportunity to stand on the stage. I want to thank all of you for hanging in. I know it has been a tough year being a fan of Candace Owens, constantly fighting, constantly punching back, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the grace of God, without your support, without your comments that helped me lift my head when it's been a bad day. I want to thank Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA, the greatest student organization. And above all else, just to thank God, because a year and a half ago, I was on YouTube, and what makes America great is how quickly your life can transform if you stop viewing yourself as a victim and start viewing yourself as a victor and a piece of the American dream. God bless.